Good morning. Welcome to part 103 of our Bedrock Vanilla Minecraft series. I'm just gonna get the diamond chest plate and call it a day. I want that chest plate. Thank you. And this is kind of, sadly, very useless. The enchantment, I mean. It's pretty useless, let's be real. Oh, that reminds me to do a couple things in here. This is a random thought, but low-key, I don't find, like, guys with... There's obviously a trend for guys with, like, huge butts. When I see a guy with a huge butt, I'm like, okay, number one, he's probably really... like, he's probably really loose, and by loose, I mean, like, he probably sleeps with a lot of people, and there's nothing that's more of a turn-off than that. And then number two... There's no way to achieve a physique like that without throwing absolutely absurd amounts of protein at your body. And you know what that means? That means it stink. That means they make the bathroom radioactive. That is not appealing to me. I don't want to be trapped in the sheets with the elephant's foot. You know what I'm saying? That's straight radiation. So when I see that, I'm like, you win some and you lose some. You know what I mean? You win some and you lose some. It's just that a lot of people act like it's like the best thing. I don't know about that. I'd rather just date someone with a relatively average physique at that point. Because someone with an average physique can still have a really nice donk on them. It's just that they're not necessarily a bodybuilder and they're not eating liquefied egg all day to maintain it. It's just disgusting. You hear people who are gym goers talk about literally squirting on equipment. I mean, like violent diarrhea. That's disgusting. And if you have to put stuff in your body that does stuff to your body like that in order to maintain that physique, to me that's not valid. That's not a good thing. So, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Where's the... Here you are. Just want a couple of these so I can coax the iron golem. That's the part that people don't talk about. Yeah, I don't like this month. I really don't like this month. I'm sorry. There's no reason for me to be apologized. Those people in that community would trample over an infant child if it meant getting their way. And that is the truth. I mean, they rabidly defend October 7th, so they would trample over children to get their way. They already have. So I don't buy the colors, I don't buy the facade. It's a bunch of BS. It's just really empty people trying to be something more. Sorry, not sorry. Maybe when Stonewall happened, maybe when oppression of that nature was real. Nowadays, not so much. If anything, it's the other way around nowadays. So I would say it's not needed anymore. The colors and rainbows and such. And unfortunately, it creates a Trojan horse of un-Western values and principles. Because whenever you have constructive criticism, they just pull a flag out of their butt, a rainbow flag, and they're like, oh my god, homophobia. No, no one's homophobic towards you. It's just that you're an evil person with no standards, and they take issue in that. You side with people who hurt Jewish people. You side with people who wish death on this country. Like, that's why people don't like you. But whenever it's time to have a real conversation about how degenerate these people are and how degenerate pride is, all they do is they pull that flag out of their butts. Just like people in the Middle East use human shields to avoid justice. Birds of a feather. Birds of a stupid, dumb feather. Interesting conversation. It was on my mind because from one of my 8 TikTok accounts, I made a comment that wasn't even bad, but the rainbow people absolutely swarmed my account. I was like, you people really are loathsome, aren't you? There's a reason people don't like you, isn't there? Yeah. Over one comment. Is their pride, is their empty pride that important to them? It's just ego. It's literally just ego. It's not even, it's not anything venerable at all. And it's not benevolent. It's not well-intended, clearly. Like I said, they would trample a baby, they would trample a child to get their way. They already do. That's why they're forcing drag queen shit on kids, and they're forcing stuff on kids that isn't relevant and isn't appropriate and isn't helpful. That's why they force themselves on kids, because they would exploit and destroy even our children just to get their way. And they make that more obvious with each passing time we try to have a real conversation with them. They would try to get your platform destroyed with brute force like they did with me. They would try and trample your child if they couldn't do worse things to your child. And they get away with it. But at least a lot of people are waking up to it. A lot of young people too. A lot of young people don't like that rainbow shit, and I don't blame them. If I was that age in school and I had to deal with that, You see, young people don't have the mental faculties to withstand a psychological assault of that nature. Most people don't, even when they're adults and they have a fully developed frontal cortex. But kids are especially vulnerable to what pride ideology does and anything of that persuasion. It's extremely damaging in so many different ways. It's damaging in the sense that it's gaslighting normal people. By normal, I mean people who don't behave in outlandish ways. I'm not talking about sexuality there. It's gaslighting normal people for having normal values and normal standards. It is creating a double standard. It is also exposing kids to pornography before they even have a chance, which is probably the worst aspect of this. It's no coincidence that rainbow people so desperately try to hyper-sexualize everything and impose that on young people. It's no coincidence, because that will melt your brain. That will melt your brain. It will completely it will completely lobotomize you. The overconsumption of corn and the LGBT go hand in hand, sadly. And it's evident at every Pride event, and it's evident on Twitter, and it's evident on TikTok. It's a bad influence. It psychologically damages kids. Why do you think about this real hard. Why do you think men in China allow South American men to wag their ding-a-lings on TikTok without catching a single content violation? Think real long and hard. Why do you think Chinese men across the ocean who created this app, who own this app and its subsidiaries, ultimately, why do you think moderators, they would train moderators to specifically ignore content violations that pertain to adult nudity, where kids being exposed to that is concerned? Why do you think they would allow it? Because they want to destroy the minds of American youth. Kids in China are not on TikTok glued to their screens. It's a Chinese app, but no one in China uses it. And the morons, the men who are basically walking brain stems, who get on this app to drive traffic to their OFs, and they wear a pair of shorts that are obviously a little too sheer, or they just straight up whip it out. People are just straight up whipping it out at this point, and it's always South American men. Of course it would be. It's literally just a bunch of brain-dead zombies carrying out the agenda that the East has against America. Of course they would allow men like that to do that. You know what I mean? I would almost say like it's free advertisement, but it's not even advertisement. It's free assassination. It's free... It's like a free... It's a parasite. It's a disease. It's a biological attack that they didn't have to create themselves. Of course they allow those dumbass South American men to expose themselves to American kids. Of course they do. And it's not just South American men, of course. It could be a bunch of different men, but I've seen definitely in the content violations where blatant nudity and sexual exploitation are concerned, I have definitely made an observation that pertains to the demographic consistently. And it's always these foreign men. A lot of that is South American, and then other foreign men, Europe, less so. And then some Americans. But the TikTok moderators are harder on Americans than they are on anyone else. Of course they would be. Anyways, I don't like this month. I don't like what it represents. I think it's just poison in a bottle. And viciously harassing people who hold my opinion, who also have my opinion, is not going to exactly dissuade us out of our position. Forcibly shutting down and silencing everyone who makes this observation and is a little suspicious will do nothing but corroborate our suspicions. Can you get out of there, please? Thank you. Okay, I need to level up this next armorist. Oh, that's annoying. How about you? Wonder how my toolsmiths are doing over here. Yeah. Oh, I used all of them. 21 emeralds. And it's not going to do anything for... Watch. It's not going to do anything. First of all, that guy's a scam. I'm going to have to get rid of him. 5. That's not even going to come close to maxing him out. Let me save the game real quick. Checkpoint. I saw a video on TikTok put up by ABC, just some propaganda bullshit, you know how it goes. Commemorating Pride Month by featuring the obituary of a Marine or a veteran who was in the closet all of his life. And so, of course, it prompted... what happened was he came out in his obituary and after death. So it prompted a bunch of people to say, this is why we need pride. This is why. And I was like, no, babe. He stayed in the closet because he didn't want to be associated with y'all. And that's the T. This is why we need pride. No, this is why we need pride to go away for a bit. And then they were like, no, because he was afraid to be shunned by he said he was afraid to be shunned by his friends and family and coworkers. Yeah, and why would they shun him? And why would they shun him? Did you ask that? Did you ask that question? Because of what it's associated with, the natural reaction is to shun that garbage. I'm not talking about homosexuality in general. I'm talking about how a lot of those people choose to act in pride events, for example. I'm talking about the degeneracy. I'm talking about the hive-minded thinking. I'm talking about the deterioration of values and respect. He was afraid to be shunned by those around him because of the stereotypes against him perpetuated by pride culture. Done. But say that to a rainbow person, most of them at least, and they're not gonna, it will not compute, because all they know how to do is blame everyone else. Even when they're flashing people on the streets, and even when they're supporting people who are setting our cars on fire and threatening our privileges, they don't understand that it's about accountability, and that this is why people don't like them. That guy was afraid to come out of the closet, not because of traditional homophobia or something. He was afraid because of how degenerate a lot of people in that community are, and he didn't want to be associated with them. Hey babe, if the majority of rainbow people were normal and acted normal, he wouldn't have been afraid to come out, because all of his friends would have been normal gay people, and there would have been no shame, and there would have been no stigma. Mic drop. If they just acted normal, there would be no stereotype. Now, I do think homophobia is real to an extent. I just don't think it's as pervasive and severe as it has been made out to be. Anti-Semitism certainly is. There's 5,000 years of anti-Semitism, and it's the most vicious disease, and it's no coincidence that gay people who have no identity in culture and don't know real oppression would betray Jews the way they have recently in the Palestine subject. It makes sense that they would be anti-Zionist because they themselves don't know real oppression or real culture. LGBT people, I mean. So anti-Semitism is an example of something that's, whoa, actually, like, it's a disease. It's like an intellectual impairment at that point. That's how bad it is. But homophobia definitely has never been as bad, or anything. Like, homophobia has never been in the league of racism or anti-Semitism or something like that. Never. Homophobia has nothing to show for itself in that capacity. It's never been as bad or close. It's never been in the same league. I think most of it is fabricated. I think most of it is simply people judging gay people because gay people choose to act unnecessarily in an obnoxious and obtrusive way in society, like taking off their clothes and exposing themselves to kids for no reason, and not being responsible in the HIV epidemic, and not taking their bodies and minds and souls into account, and how those things can impact those of others in a joined society in which we live. Case in point, they just get on a pill. They don't want to wear a condom. They're allergic to condoms. They don't want to wear a condom. They just get on a pill. A pill that will destroy your skeleton and destroy your kidneys in a decade. Literally sacrificing their bodies and souls for a moment of gratification, and then they wonder why people don't respect them and don't want to be around them. And then they try to push that crap on kids. Oh no, just get on PrEP. Just get on PrEP. These are kids. These are kids. These are kids who are not even like in their 20s yet, and you're telling them to be chained to a pill just so they can make you feel more normal in your abnormal lifestyle. That's the thing. They are preying on our kids to make themselves feel more normal. And that is the ultimate violation, in my opinion. I've slept with men. And if I can't say it, then no one can. No one's canceling me. No one's shutting me down. I wrote an album about a man's butthole. I'm not kidding. I'm allowed to say, I'm allowed to have an intellect that has nothing to do with my orientation. The two are not mutually exclusive. Like, you do not have to subscribe to certain things if you are a gay person. It's not a monolith. And straight up, the vast majority of homophobia is fabricated at this point. I don't think we need pride. I think we need to distance ourselves from it. And, like, be normal. Yeah. Just, like, be normal. You don't need to put drag shows in front of kids. You don't need to take off your clothes in pride events. You don't need to block trains and block cars. You don't need to advocate for un-Western ideation. These are things that you don't need to do and have nothing to do with sexuality. To me, pride events are a cancer that has metastasized and is now taking the form of tumors across an otherwise healthy body. A pride event, the pride events throughout the United States are, to me, like big fat tumors across the states. Big fat tumors on the map. The biggest one being New York City Pride, of course. That's where it all started. You know, I wish they hadn't done that at Stonewall. Solely for the reason that now they have the excuse, the people who are victims of that, by extension at least, existentially, they have the excuse to bug everyone else about it for all time. And it was hardly the H word. Hollow. Cost. It wasn't... Once again, gay people don't know true oppression. They never will. Never have, never will. They got an infinitesimal modicum, a little tiny microscopic drop, a microbe of pain in comparison to what Jews have faced for millennia. And now we will never hear the end of it because of one little night in a nightclub where not even 100 people died. Ooh. Where not even 100 people died. Not even 100 people. Meanwhile, October 7th, thousands of people, doesn't matter. I did not realize I'd spend 40 minutes like straight talking politics, but it's on my mind because a bunch of dumb gay people raided my TikTok account last night. They didn't have to do all that. They didn't have to do all that. They could have just respectfully disagreed with me instead of trying to forcibly shut down my platform. That's why people don't like you. I don't know what to tell you. That's why people don't like you. That's why they turn their other cheek. That's why people like me get on a little Minecraft server and we start talking shit. Because you go after people in bad faith. I should have around... I'll get a full stack of iron so I could get a clean 16. How the hell did this horse... Oh, I do have... Hold on. I have leads. Stupid horse. Get in here. What's wrong with you? What? He can't go through... Oh, man. Come. I'm sorry, are you like... Are you slow? What are we doing? Here. Make it real easy for you. Oh, it's because of that. Okay. Please? Yes, yes. That was my mistake, my bad. You're not a slow horse. Well, he shouldn't have been outside, so I maintain that he's slow. Unless he just spawned there for some reason. I don't know how... Anyways. Oh, and you know what else happened? A person who was rainbow made fun of my song recently that I wrote. It's a beautiful song. I'm not gonna share the title here because we're not that tight yet. Not just yet. We're not that tight yet. You understand? But I wrote a song and it's a very, very smart song. And it references, it's written from 2 points of view. It's written with this duality, with a happy song on top and a very sinister song on the bottom. And it references what I've discussed thus far in the pride subject. It's a really, really smart song, and it's catchy, and it's beautiful, and it's sad. And a person who was gay, when we had this conversation, and mind you, I was being very respectful, they started spitting the lyrics of my song at me, knowing that it was my song because I had shared it with them. And then they said blah, blah, blah. And you can imagine what I said to them after that. See, my song is smart, and my dialogue is smart, and I'm not going to be silenced by a dumb insert word. I'm not going to be silenced by a dumb insert word. I can't say the word, but I'm not going to be silenced by a dumb insert word here. Because I'm smart, and I'm tasteful. I'm not going to find myself silenced. I'm not going to catch myself silenced by a dumb, loud, annoying, basic, untalented insert word here. I don't take that. I don't take that. Oh, it's this dude. Okay. Oh, I can't do it. Okay. I will not be taking that. The ultimate insult for a gay person to listen to that song and say blah blah blah, you blah blah blah. The epitome of your art is a person strapping his dong back and putting on a wig. How dare you insult my art? At least I have talent. At least I have God-given talent. How dare you insult my song? How dare you desecrate music? Like, you know what I mean? The ultimate insult. Not just to me, but to society at large. This is what I'm saying. I was looking for the other armorist, but I can't find him right now. Like, how dare you insult real art? And you know what? That's how it always goes. That's the beginning of the end. With society. It's the degradation of good art. Of course they would just say blah 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 because they have no intellectual content. Because they have nothing good to share themselves. You can call me all the words and blah, I don't care. I don't care. But the moment you come for my art, it's over. It's a wrap. And in that song, they say life imitates hates art. In that song, there's a very specific message. And all I gotta say is they, let there be light. Yep. Let there be light. Let there be light. 100%. Oh my gosh. I spent all the emeralds already. Okay, well he's closer. I spent all my emeralds already. Hi, yes, I can see. Did I just get rid of my... I just got rid of my enchanted helmet. Hold on. Anyways, to sum it up, that gay person insulting that song, which is really a masterclass on writing and storytelling, is the epitome. It says everything you need to know. Yeah, of course he would insult that song. Of course he would insult everything that represents higher values, that represents intellect, that represents order and design. Of course he would insult it. Just like he does in every other sector of society with his fake activism. It's going well. I'm just chilling. I play Minecraft before work every morning. I've just been farming iron. This horse is making me a little nervous. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I am. I stream every day. I will take several cookies. No, I will take bread. Thank you for bread. It's so divine having a farmer that you could just buy food from. Instead of having to rely on crops. Oh, bees, yes. Come here, bees. Come here, please. I always like to breed them when I get the chance. There you go. And I'm gonna get this guy out of here. Come on. Huh? Go, my child, go. I don't understand your question. Bro, you need to get inside. I'm so glad this is elevated because they would definitely be infected by zombies eventually. Always elevate your builds. Thank you, but I actually already excel in graphic design and I don't need to hire someone to do that, but I appreciate the offer. If you look at my channel, it's already pristine and it's better than anything anyone else could do for me. So thank you, but I will pass. On that note, I gotta go to work, so I will see you guys later. No, I don't want to go to the store. No. No. Ugh. I don't know if I'll be on tonight because I might have other work to do tonight, but I will definitely be on tomorrow morning as always. Do 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 do. Bye.